But if there's some good news here for the Buckeyes, they do have some options on the table. To be exact, 4 there. CJ Stroud, generally considered the front runner to start at some point, was a 5-star QB, the number 29th overall player in 2020. Kyle McCord, also a 5-star per 24/7 Sports in the 2021 cycle. Then you got Jack Miller. Then, oh, wait, there's another guy. Quinn Ewers, he's on campus with the Buckeyes. You look at that, that's a lot of talent loaded in that QB room. All right, joining us now for 24/7 Sports, Dave Biddle. And Dave, when you look at it, that's a lot of 5-star powers. I think we mentioned it here. You got 3 5-stars to choose from along with Jack Miller, but there's a reason CJ Stroud might be the front runner here.
Yeah, Brandon, I think CJ Stroud will be the starter. In fact, I think Ryan Day, when he named him, the leader, said there was some separation there. That was Ryan Day's way earlier this week of saying CJ Stroud is the starter. I think he'll make it official probably sometime next week. The Buckeyes are just 13 days away from that season opener at Minnesota on that Thursday night, September 2nd. CJ Stroud's a guy, they say he's just been moving the football well. He makes good decisions. He's accurate, has a strong arm, doesn't have a cannon. He's also mobile. He's not as mobile as a Justin Fields, but he's mobile enough, so he can do a little bit of everything. And kind of a late bloomer, only started 2 years in high school and just keeps getting better and better and better. Started off as a 3-star recruit, worked his way up to a 5-star recruit. They really like CJ Stroud. They like Kyle McCord behind him. But yes, I think CJ Stroud will be the Buckeye starting quarterback, and I expect him to have a big year.
You look at it there, Quinn Ewers, the one name a lot of people probably circle, waiting to see if and when he might be an option as a starting quarterback this year. When you look at him just getting there, Ryan Day already said he's easing him into the process. What's your first impression of him there with the Buckeyes?
Yeah, he looks good throwing the ball, but he's not doing any of the team stuff. Like when they go team 11 on 11, he just stands by and just takes mental reps. But when they just do quarterback drills, you can see like why he has that 5-star pedigree. I mean, he can throw the football really well. He's got a cannon for an arm. Just has a quick release. We'll see, though. Brandon, it's going to take multiple injuries to guys ahead of him for him to see meaningful snaps this year. I think we will see him play, but it's going to be garbage minutes. I think it would take a situation like 2014 when Ohio State had to use 3 quarterbacks. It would take, injuries to C.J. Stroud, Kyle McCord, maybe even Jack Miller for Quinn Ewers to see meaningful snaps. This was just kind of pushing the clock ahead, getting him 1 year closer to the NFL if he's able to do that, and, of course, name, image, and likeness. That's what it's all about this year, and getting a chance to learn from Ryan Day and his staff and these other quarterbacks. So for those that are wondering, do not expect to see Quinn Ewers take meaningful snaps this year for the Buckeyes, with the caveat being that there are injuries to guys ahead of him.
All right, so we know what the offense can do or what the potential is for 2021. Let's look on the defense and start with that D-line. You got Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau. If you look at that front 4 or front 3, is this, maybe the best unit or the best part of this team this year?
It's definitely the strength of the defense. I mean, the offense is going to be loaded at several different levels, but certainly, Brandon, it will be the strength of the defense. It's like, death taxes and Larry Johnson fielding a deep, talented defensive line at Ohio State, the certainties of life. They're going to be loaded on that D-line this year, and they're going to need to be because the back 7 has a lot of question marks. But, they've got a good starting lineup in there with defensive ends Tyreek Smith and Zach Harrison. Good D tackles there with Haskell Garrett, who had All-American accolades last year. Jerron Cage is going to move in there as a starter. They also have the guys you mentioned, the true freshman D ends with Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer. They're going to play a lot as true freshmen. They have Javonte Jean-Baptiste, another guy they're going to play at D end, and they have other D tackles that were very highly rated coming out of high school. Like Teron Vincent was the #1 defensive tackle in the country in the 2018 class. He might be the main backup. So they like their depth on the defensive line. They like their talent. And again, that defensive line needs to be elite because there are question marks in the back 7.
And you mentioned it, of course, with Sawyer and Tuimoloau. You start to hear rumblings of maybe the next Bosa's or the next Chase Young. We're talking that front. You mentioned the secondary. If we're looking at that back 7, what's the problem with them? Are they just inexperienced, or is this something, just a question mark you just have the entire season?
Yeah, they have talent there, and maybe we'll look back on it and it won't be a weakness. Maybe it'll be a strength. What they have to hope for is they just need to get a lot better against passing defense. I mean, they have to be a much better passing defense. They were the 6th worst passing defense in the country last year. So you start with the linebackers. They're replacing not only their 3 starting linebackers, but their top backup in Justin Hilliard. But they feel good about a couple of guys. They feel good about Taraja Mitchell and Cody Simon and a few other guys. And then you look at what's going on in the defensive backfield. They have an interesting mix of veterans and a lot of young guys that they're pretty high on. When you talk to Ryan Day, he seems optimistic about the DBs. Seven Banks, of course, is the main guy there at corner. They have Cam Brown coming back from that Achilles injury. He's probably going to be the other starter. They've got a bunch of other young corners they really like, including a couple true freshmen, Denzel Burke and J.K. Johnson, that are going to play a lot. Then at safety, they like Josh Proctor a lot. He's a veteran. He's a senior. And they've got some young guys they really like Lathan Ransom. So they're definitely going to improve as a passing defense. They were the 6th worst in the country last year. They're going to improve. My question is how much? Are they going to improve exponentially, or are they going to improve just a little bit? They cannot afford to just improve a little bit. They have to improve a lot. And I think they will. I think in this defensive line, being elite will help them by getting more pressure on the quarterbacks. I think the linebackers eventually will kind of mold together. And again, they seem to be optimistic about this young but talented core of secondary players. So I think they will improve a lot. They're not going to be an elite passing defense, but I think they will improve a lot over where they were last year. And they absolutely have to if they want to get over the hump.
All right, we always know it starts up front, and so far looking pretty good before we get to week 1 there. Dave Biddle is always breaking it down for us from 24/7 Sports. Don't forget, they're always giving it to you straight, no chaser there, 24/7 Sports, wall-to-wall team coverage, of course, recruiting ranks, transfer portal updates, dial in. The closer we get to week 0, they have you covered. Check them out.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.